Hey everybody, Joe Joseph here for thedailysheeple.com, and this is your news shot. Wow, I never thought I'd see the day. I never thought I'd see the day. I remember a time when GM put out an electric vehicle, the EV1, right? And no one could own it. It had to be leased, and at the end of the lease, they took them all and they destroyed them all because it was such a threat against the internal combustion engine and the petroleum industry that they didn't want it to take hold. This was back in the 80s, and this was an electric car that gave you a 100-mile range and was really way ahead of its time. Well, according to the Wall Street Journal, Volvo plans to go electric to abandon the conventional car engine by 2019. This is pretty deep, especially what it means to foreign policy throughout the world. You know, how will the Middle East, how will all these countries that utilize oil as their main source of income, how will they adapt to this changing economic landscape? And what does it mean to foreign policy throughout the world? Because people go to war when their population starts to starve. You know, this is a very, very interesting development that has a lot of consequences if it's not done right. It says for Volvo, the internal combustion engine has run its course in the face of competition from upstarts like Tesla, which begins production this week on its new mass-market Model 3 electric battery-powered family car. The Chinese-owned automotive group on Wednesday said that all new Volvo models from 2019 would be either fully electric or a hybrid. Volvo is the first major automaker to abandon the technology that's powered industry for more than a century. Hakan Samuelson, president and chief executive of Volvo Cars, said in a statement, quote, "This marks the end of the solely combustion engine-powered car." Reiterating his target of selling 1 million electric cars and hybrids by 2025, he continued, he said, "When we said it, we meant it. And this is how we're going to do it." So according to Volvo, they said it would launch 5 new electric and hybrid vehicles between 2019 and 2021. 2 of these new models would be built by Polestar, the performance car unit that Volvo's spinning off as a separately branded electrified global high-performance car company. Volvo Cars would build another 3 models. No further detail is available. Now, what we are seeing, though, is a shift in the industry away from the internal combustion engine in favor of electric vehicles. But the challenge for the industry, according to the Wall Street Journal, is to get the timing right, because the industry's typically long product cycles that involve years of research and development actually has to happen before a vehicle rolls off of the assembly line. There's a lot that goes into this. There's a lot of approval that has to be had. You're talking about basically reworking the way you do things. Their entire business model's changing. But very forward-thinking view. The industry itself, though, has to be careful, because if they roll this out too fast and they pull back on the internal combustion engine too fast, again, you're not going to give economies that rely on oil as their main source of income time to adapt and change to a new type of revenue stream. You know, so again, countries in the Middle East, countries down in South America like Venezuela, who's already reeling from low, quote, low oil costs, are going to really feel the pinch, if you could say, and that's putting it very lightly, as just the decrease going from $110 a barrel down to $50 a barrel has devastated countries throughout the world. And shame on them for getting hooked on oil at $110 a barrel. I mean, that wasn't realistic. The whole reason why that went up during that time was because demand was high. China was in the process of building all their ghost cities, which, by the way, there's a whole story there that has to be gone over. And they were also preparing for the Olympic Games in 2008. So they were sucking up all the resources. They drove demand up. Oil goes through the roof. And then after it's done, guess what happens? Economy crashes, oil crashes, and it hasn't recovered since. And people now, knowing what they went through, with $4.50 a gallon oil here in the United States are trying to avoid that as best as humanly possible, even though oil is now at a, 3-year low, if not lower. We're looking at a collapse of the oil industry, and good for Volvo that they've had the foresight to see it and hedge against that glut that's already here, but is going to get a lot worse. I'm Joe Joseph. This was thedailySheeple.com's News Shot. Feel free to comment below and visit our website at thedailySheeple.com. Have a great day, everybody.